Just about everything on the menu has gone up.
Customers are feeling the sting of the minimum wage increase. In California, minimum wage for fast food workers went up to $20 an hour on April 1st. A month later, workers excited to earn more money.
To me, it is a big impact because as a low-wage worker, I was earning $18.20.
Pamela Mejia says her hours have been cut at McDonald's, so she has not seen the difference yet. It's happening at a lot of fast food spots, where managers are raising prices and reducing hours.
Before, we were not scared to pay like employees working 45, 42, 43 hours. Now we are really concerned and just getting up to them for 35 hours, the most, because overtime would kind of cost us a lot.
Sanjeet Kumar, the district manager over 8 Carl's Jr.'s locations, says prices have gone up by about 7%.
It's very difficult for us to stay in business if the cost goes up.
All right, guys, so once again, we got to talk about California and voters voting for their own demise, okay? This seems to be something that they love to do, even when they have an example of how, hey, this is probably not a good idea, right? Like, for example, raising the minimum wage significantly over a short period of time, probably not a good idea, okay, as California loses nearly 10,000 fast food jobs after $20 minimum wage signed last fall. Now, despite the massive job losses due to the $20 an hour minimum wage for fast food workers, that has not stopped workers in other sectors of the economy demanding the same thing, because that's kind of how this goes. Once you raise the minimum wage for one group of people, everybody's going to think that, oh, no, I deserve to get paid more. If a McDonald's worker can get paid $20 an hour, I should get paid at least that or more, which is the argument that San Diego hospitality and service workers are making to justify a $25 an hour minimum wage for them. They're saying, hey, if a McDonald's worker can make $20 an hour minimum wage, then we should be making at least $25 an hour. Take a look.
The 1st of May celebrates International Workers' Day, drawing millions of workers throughout the world to the streets, demanding fair pay and better working conditions.
Here in San Diego, hundreds of service workers, from cooks to janitors to hotel staffers, took part. CBS 8's Richard Allen has more on the specific demand they're making and the support they're receiving.
And this May Day, workers here are calling on the city of San Diego to mandate a minimum wage of $25 an hour for service workers, a move that would boost wages for thousands of employees at local hotels, the convention center, and event centers like Petco Park and Snapdragon Stadium. Raising their signs and their voices, hundreds of San Diego's service workers marched through downtown San Diego, demanding a nearly 50% increase in the current citywide minimum wage of $16.85 an hour. Among them, Juan Carlos, a cook at the Hilton Bayfront.
We're fighting for janitors, we're fighting for hospitality, we're fighting for all stagehands. You know, all these people are behind the scenes, making it happen, making things happen for everyone's entertainment. I think we should be compensated a little more for our work.
Marching from Bayfront Park in front of the Hilton, through the streets to the Civic Center. Many of these workers pointed to the recently passed pay hike for California's fast food workers.
If McDonald's can make $20 an hour and we bust our butts and we're running around taking care of tables and taking care of our customers, why can't we?
April Bussard, a single mom of 3 young kids, works at Petco Park's Lexus Club and struggles to make her $3,600 a month rent.
Like, I'm scraping just to pay my bills, my rent, everything. It's really hard.
Los ricos don't want to pay you, then they can clean the buildings themselves.
Lorena Gonzalez is chief officer of the California Labor Federation, representing more than 2 million workers statewide.
We know in San Diego the rent's too high and wages are too low.
She's hopeful that San Diego City Council will consider this proposed wage ordinance for $25 an hour for service workers.
It's time that we really lift up these workers who, all during the pandemic, we called essential. We relied on them. They continue to do work. It's service workers, people who keep us happy, keep the tourism economy going, and it's time to pay them what they deserve.
And while there's no definite timeline, now that this proposed ordinance has been drafted, workers here are hopeful that City Council will consider it and vote on it as soon as possible.
Wow. $25 an hour to be a service or a hospitality worker. I believe that's what, $52,000 a year, okay, total to do that. This is why robots are coming, right? Automation, technology, okay, with the development of AI, a lot of these people, they're going to find themselves in a situation where they're not going to have any jobs, right? They're not going to have a job because essentially they're forcing these companies to invest in these technologies that can replace these workers faster and quicker because these people continue to demand more and more and more and more money to do jobs that, again, quite honestly, don't require that much skill. And again, I'm not trying to be mean about it. I'm not trying to say that these people should not get paid more money. But if you want to get paid more money, then you need to develop skills that will demand more money on the market, right? We can't just artificially increase wages through government mandates for jobs that on the labor market, right, on the free market, just don't demand that much compensation. It is what it is, okay? It is what it is. There's a reason why the CEO gets paid as much as he does. Is because the skills that he has are in high demand and they are rare, right? They're in low supply, okay? But when you talk about a janitor, who, again, that is a profession that, hey, I have a lot of respect for in the sense that, yes, janitors are needed. You need to keep places clean, okay? I think that's an important job. However, okay, being able to clean a building is not necessarily a high-end skill, right? It's not a skill that is hard to acquire, right? It's just one of those things where you just kind of got to do it, right? I mean, you can hire anybody to clean something. That don't mean they're going to clean it good, okay? Doesn't mean it's going to be done very well. But, I mean, again, it doesn't take much to get somebody to be able to do the job, right? And, again, if you want to get paid more, then you have to acquire more skills. But that's not what these people want to hear. Nobody ever wants to hear that, hey, you need to put in more work. You need to go to some type of trade school. You need to go to some type of community college and to specialize in something to learn a unique skill that's in high demand and relatively low supply on the labor marketplace, okay? That is how you get paid more money. But, hey, you know, this is the country that we live in where we're basically telling all these workers who have jobs that basically anybody can do, with relatively little to no training or real type of skill development or anything like that, that, oh, no, your job, you know, you should get paid this and you should get paid that just simply because you are a worker. And it's like, nah, that's simply just not the case. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be, again, mean about it. I'm just telling people, like, this is how capitalism works, okay? And capitalism works its way for a reason, okay? But, you know, it is what it is, right? This is California. This is what they choose to do. And the only thing that we can do really is just to observe the effects because, you know, a lot of times, you know, when you talk about economic theories and stuff like that, like what happens when you increase the minimum wage significantly over a short period of time, a lot of this stuff you're dealing with, again, is theoretical. But what's happening in California, because they're doing it right now, is not theoretical anymore in regards to what will actually happen, right? We don't have to debate back and forth in regards to what happens when you do this because we have empirical evidence showing that, yeah, when you increase the minimum wage like this so fast, you're going to lose a ton of jobs, right? And people are going to work less hours. They're not going to get paid more money. I just did a story about delivery drivers in Seattle, which is another liberal city, that basically got a pay raise to $25 an hour, more than $25 an hour, really. And demand for orders for food, for delivery, dropped significantly because the fees were too high, right? I mean, these people would get paid so much that people were like, you know what, it's just not worth me delivering anymore because it's just too expensive. So what ended up happening is that these workers ended up making a lot less money, even though they got a pay increase. But because they didn't get as many deliveries or orders, their overall income dropped, which again is the exact opposite effect of what was intended. It was intended for them to get paid more to make more money so they can live, but they actually ended up getting paid less because of the minimum wage increase forced upon these app companies by the city. And now the city is looking to reverse that because of just how bad it has ruined the restaurant and delivery industry.
Yeah, Molly, City Council just voted to lower the minimum wage for delivery drivers in hopes of helping workers and restaurant owners. And we've talked to people on both sides, with some saying that they are on board with the changes, while others say that the law was never the problem. Customers ordering food from delivery apps have seen an uptick in prices. This comes after a pay ordinance went into effect in January, and now some delivery drivers say this has led to a drop in orders.
You know, a lot of people are happy with the pay they got and everything was working good, but now that they only get one delivery a day or two deliveries a day, that really cuts into their income.
The new law gave delivery drivers a pay increase of $26.40 an hour plus mileage before tips. Seattle City Council's revisions of the law would lower the minimum wage requirement for workers to get paid just under $20 an hour plus 35 cents a mile. But not all drivers we spoke to are on board.
I can pay bills now without, working extra hours. And that's something people don't talk about, is you don't have to work as long to get the money to pay your bills.
Some restaurant owners like Becky Yoshitani argues that if changes aren't made, there will be long-term impacts.
I'm concerned that the longer this goes on, those people will have found alternatives to ordering from restaurants.
A local nonprofit, Drive Forward, that was funded by gig workers, says by reducing the pay, more people will be willing to use the food apps once again.
And that should allow the companies, the delivery companies, to reduce their fees, and that should bring demand back to the apps and offer more trips.
Now, we did reach out to delivery apps like Grubhub and DoorDash, who are in support of the changes, and they tell me that they applaud the City Council for working to fix the law. Now, the revised legislation will go up to full council on May 21st. But for now, reporting in Seattle, Karina Vargas, KOMO News.
Yeah, so more empirical evidence, okay, not just theories, to suggest that these liberal economic policies just simply don't work, okay? When you increase the minimum wage, like the city of Seattle did for delivery drivers so quickly, like California did so quickly for fast food workers, and now they're begging to do it again for hospitality and service workers to $25 an hour. Well, what happens? These people, these workers don't end up making more money. They end up losing money, right? They make less money. Why they make less money? Because the increase in prices due to the increase in cost of labor brings down demand for the goods and services. And when demand for the goods and services go down, then the company makes less overall money, or they make less profit, which means they have to cut back on hours, okay, in order to compensate for the decrease in demand, which means that these workers will make less money overall because they're not allowed to work as much as they were before, due to the fact that the company simply is not making as much money due to the increase in prices, which lowers demand. I mean, this is not hard, right? This is not complicated, okay? This is type of stuff that you should be learning in high school, right? About how economics works, okay? How the market works, okay? The true minimum wage really is zero, because if you don't work, then you don't get paid. But I mean, I don't know, in Biden's economy, I think we're paying too many people not to work, which is, again, part of the reason why we have the issues that we have with finding workers willing to work, because again, you can get paid not to work, not good. But again, the true wage that you should get paid is what the market dictates, right? Not what the government dictates, okay? Every time you try to get the government involved, the government just makes it worse, okay? The government is inefficient. The market is efficient, okay? And when you have the government interfere with the free market, that's how inefficiencies are created in the market, okay? What you see happen in California and in Seattle are inefficiencies, right? Created by the government, because the government is not good at controlling market forces, okay? Once you get the government involved, you know, things tend to go downhill, right? Because the government, they're not good capital allocators. They don't know how much to properly pay somebody. They don't understand market forces and a worker's real worth on the marketplace, okay? Because they're not in these industries, okay? And they're not operating as businesses. Again, they're the government, okay? And again, the more they get involved with this type of stuff, the worse that it gets, okay? So what you're seeing here is an example of what we call government failure, right? In which the government, because of their policies, getting involved with the market, create inefficiencies that, again, you're seeing happening with, you know, a lot of these workers in these industries in Seattle, these little cities and these little states. I personally believe out there in Seattle, even $20 an hour for a delivery driver is still too much, right? I mean, I don't think they should have a minimum wage. I mean, you're a delivery driver, right? You get paid whatever the market dictates, because honestly, delivery is not a high skill job. It's just not, right? I mean, again, if you actually lowered the minimum wage to less than that, right? If they didn't have a minimum wage, I guarantee you a lot of these delivery drivers would probably make more money because people would be willing to tip more and they get more orders, right? But again, that's not the way that these people look at it. They want to work less and to get paid more, but then they don't understand that you end up getting paid less overall when that happens. So, hey, what do I know? I'm just some dude on the internet. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.